Hello and good morning, and welcome to the Business Standard Morning Show. Information belonging to hundreds of thousands of Indians who received COVID vaccines was allegedly leaked recently. This included crucial data like a person's phone number, gender, ID card information, and date of birth, which was leaked on Telegram and could be retrieved with the help of a bot by entering a person's name. For its part, the central government has termed the reports of this breach as mischievous in nature. It has also said that the bot had not been accessing the CoWin database directly. Even if we keep the latest case aside, one can't deny that our data is not secure. For example, a recent report by an exposure management company called Tenable revealed that India ranked second in terms of the total number of data breaches exposed in 2022. Against this backdrop, we have with us Himanshu Pathak, the founder of cybersecurity consultancy CyberX9, and Salman Waris, managing partner at technology law firm TechLegis Advocates and Solicitors. They will help us understand why India continues to be hit by a sizable number of data breaches and suggest a way forward. So let's jump to the questions, and we will start with Himanshu. How is the data that the government and its agencies collect from Indians protected? What is the system like? And considering that the servers of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences were hacked by cybercriminals just a few months before the alleged CoWin leak, how can the gaps in this system be plugged?
In the past, we have done several research of some serious data breaches in India. For example, Vodafone Idea, a company named as Policybazaar, Punjab National Bank. And we were playing a role of whistleblower from past few years, and we were ringing the bell continuously on the government that there need to be a robust system by the government as well as by the private entities to secure the sensitive data. Actually, the problem is our Indian government agencies are taking quite huge number of sensitive information from the users, which is actually not required. For example, in the case of CoWin, they were taking complete Aadhaar number. That is actually not required. You can just take the virtual Aadhaar number, which is given by the UADI only, or you can take the last 4 digits and all. That complete Aadhaar number is just useless.
So just to get back to the point though, sir, what are the specific gaps that are there in security?
Basically, there is a lapse of a strict law like GDPR in European Union. So once the government agencies and the private agencies are under the strict obligation to secure the data, they will do so. If there is a no strict law, there is no capital, no punishment, no implementation of fines are involved, then there will be lapses. You implement the strict data protection law on the government as well as on the private entity, and you make people responsible. You make people pay for their negligence. That will solve the problem.
Noted. So, Salman, coming to you, do you agree with this, or do you think the gaps in the solutions lie elsewhere? Would you concur with what Himanshu has said?
Yeah, I think I would agree with what Himanshu has said, but I would like to add to what he has said. See, we as a country, we have a plethora of laws, and these laws goes back to the British, government, and a lot of these laws are almost century old. But it's not just having the law, but it's also having a very robust enforcement mechanism and agencies that are very proactive in terms of taking action. Now, unfortunately, with our country, the problem is that for the almost last 10 years, we have been talking about having a data protection law. And each time there is a proper effort made in drafting a law and getting it introduced in the parliament, there have been several versions of the bill. And each of those times, the bill gets diluted in some way or the other. The latest draft is now supposedly set to be introduced in the parliament in the monsoon session. But there have already been some attempts to dilute the teeth in terms of enforcement or in terms of breaches and the bill's scope as far as the government agencies are concerned. Now, government is, as far as India is concerned, government is the biggest collector of data, and as has already been pointed out, a lot of times more data is being collected by government agencies than that has been required. As far as the current situation or this present case is concerned, the COVID data leak or this CoWin data leak.
So we'll get to the current leak in a bit, but my sense is that both Himanshu and Salman, both of you agree that the gaps are more in having an appropriate law and having strict implementation of that law. It's not really a technological problem as much as it's more of a having the right systems in place problem. Will both of you agree with that?
No, but there is lapses in the system as well. The thing is, the government should be in the positive direction, should admit their fault, that whatever that happened. For example, Mr. Ram Sevak, he is the head of this CoWin institute or a company, whatever you say. He is a chairperson of the high-powered committee who looks after the CoWin. What his statement is, he's saying, how is the data leak possible? There should be an OTP on the mobile number. When an OTP will come, then only the data will be coming. So he wants to tell us that 50 crore people will receive an OTP. Then the hacker will go and ask to the 50 crore people, Acha ji, you tell our data. What kind of irresponsible statement is being given by such a responsible person who is sitting on the position? There is a database at the back end. The hacker definitely got the access of the database, and they have downloaded the copy of the database that is already being distributed to multiple stakeholders. The copy is being distributed. Telegram was only being used as a medium to circulate the data, right? So government should come up with a statement that yes, it is done. Now we will take action against the people who are responsible for it.
So that's an interesting point, and we were going to take up this question a bit later, but I'll throw it up to you also, Salman. Like Himanshu said, he's spoken about the government's response to this particular alleged breach. Very quickly, how do you see the government's response? How would you describe it?
So I agree with Himanshu the way he has pointed this out. The fact is that the government is trying to pass the buck. I mean, the statements that Himanshu quoted are very alarming, where he's trying to justify, or rather Mr. Ram Sevak is trying to justify his position by saying that there has not been a leak, and how can a Telegram bot leak the data, or no OTP request has been made. I mean, that's not how hackers work. The data has already been leaked, and we don't know how much is the exposure. It could be the whole of CoWin data, which is probably one of the largest depositories of health data in the world. And even the minister himself, in his denial statement, has said that this is not a new leak. I mean, it is old data that has been leaked. The fact is that the data has been leaked. You are trying to just try and justify that, okay, it is not a fresh leak, it doesn't matter. Government has been, for the last few years, trying to project itself as a global leader in terms of, who are going to collect a lot of data and secure that data. But at the same time, they are not able to, ensure security of that data.
So the sense that I'm getting, especially also from what Himanshu said, and this is related to both the alleged CoWin data breach and previous issues, is that I think somewhere also perhaps the government and corporations in India are collecting too much data, on data which is unnecessary as compared perhaps to their counterparts across the world. So that point Himanshu has made, now taking that forward, and I think you agree, Salman, now taking that forward, when you look at the fact that India's public digital infrastructure is growing by leaps and bounds, do you think it becomes a point of particular vulnerability in the absence of, let's say, a data protection bill, a continuing absence of a data protection bill?
No, I agree with that. I fully agree with that. There is a huge gap as far as the regulatory mechanism is concerned. When the government's effort has been for over the past few years to collect so much data than is actually required of citizens, and or the whole concept of digital India and digitalization. And now we are talking about a digital India bill, which is going to cover every aspect of the digital life of an Indian citizen. Then there has to be at the same time a responsibility on the government, because I mean, in the draft, even the draft data protection bill, there has been an effort to exclude government agencies out of the purview of the bill. So in case there is a leakage from the government side or any government agency side, they would not be held responsible, or they cannot be taken to court. So that is where the biggest problem lies. It's not just having the law, it is about a mechanism which is a foolproof mechanism and an enforcement agency that ensures that, if there is, firstly, there should not be a data breach. The government should have clear mechanism in place so that either it's government data or data in private citizens' depositories or in companies' depositories that should be regularly monitored in the sense from a security perspective, and ensure that the regular, relevant security measures are in place to secure that data. And the second is, in case there is a breach, then there should be very, strict penalties and strict responsibility held on people who are responsible for that breach.
Ultimately, what are your closing thoughts on how India can better secure the data of its populace and ensure that details which are meant to be private remain private?
We need a strict body or a regulatory authority, as Salman said, that should have the power to prosecute the government departments, government official, as well as the private individuals, companies, whosoever is collecting the sensitive data.
So the sense that I get from what both Himanshu and Salman, both what you've told me, is that there is a need for the right guardrails to be in place, whether that's legislation, whether that's a regulatory body, and proper and strict enforcement across the board. Thank you, Himanshu, Salman. Thank you for giving us your time, and have a good day.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
He's making plans for an early retirement. Business Standard.